out your way, buddy. Dog's driving, man. Hey, peace out, buddy. That was awesome. That dude thought this was cool. All right. Where were we? Full self dog. Settle down. Stop hamming up my video. All right, that's one errand got done. Okay, so I was about to get serious for a moment in our last video, part 1. Allow me to continue my sort of improvised monologue about artificial intelligence. So, if you spend any time looking around at what's happening in the world of AI, you'll know that Jack Dorsey just had directed his company Blocks to lay off thousands of people. What was it, 4,000 something, 40,000 or 40% of their workforce laid off, something like 70% of the engineers. And a lot of people have suggested that he's doing this, he's blaming artificial intelligence for just poor hiring decisions. You know, and other, you know, splurges and indiscretions, and there might be a kernel of truth to that. I'm sure that there is some measure of correction going on here. But here's the real heart of it. The correct analysis here is, and I'll sort of restate kind of like the axiomatic principle that artificial intelligence can perform any task for which there is an observable pattern. And the corollary to that is observable patterns are everywhere. Every aspect of your daily life expresses some kind of a pattern. Your personal life, your professional life, there isn't anything that we can't distill some routine from, truly. People will argue that, oh, well, you know, I do original work. You most likely do not. You know, it's not even a fraction of a percent of the human population actually does anything that's truly novel or new. And I don't mean that to be disparaging. I just mean to recognize that we really are ants marching in a lot of ways, where we're just kind of doing the same things over and over again with slight variations. And I can digress for a moment and say, like, software engineering is a perfect example of just simply repeating the same patterns over and over again. Come on, car. Oh, actually, this is the smart thing. There's no break in the traffic to our left. Anyway, people in software industry love to think that they're, you know, breaking new ground and whatnot, but really nothing in software has changed fundamentally for 50, 60 years. I mean, basically the patterns that we use today in software are fundamentally traceable back to the work in the 70s and 80s. But then before that, it's all based on computer science fundamentals, which have also not changed much. But I'm just talking about that, about one narrow space. Like, how does it apply to the bigger picture? You know, when you go to work, you know, and you're coming up with financial projections, or you're sending an email to your boss, or coming up with some marketing material, or if you're a legacy auto manufacturer, you're just figuring out, how can we slightly tweak this piece of chrome to make it a brand new model year? You know, it's really just slight variations on the same fundamental pattern over and over and over again. All of this is ripe for artificial intelligence to perform these tasks. And whether or not Jack Dorsey is what's the term that people are coming up, like AI washing or something? Whether or not he's just using artificial intelligence as a scapegoat to cover up his managerial failures or leadership failures and overhiring or splurging too much on hookers and blow at his company parties, that, again, might be true. But the fundamental fact that is inescapable is that artificial intelligence is absolutely consuming human labor at an exponential pace, super exponential, maybe even hyperbolic. We are at the inflection point. We are past it, even. Well, no, we're not past it. You'll know when we're past it. And I think many people are just, unfortunately, woefully ignorant of what's coming. They're just going through their daily lives expecting that tomorrow will be very much like yesterday, with hardly a care in the world. And I feel sorry for these people because they are not gonna be prepared for the seismic shift our economy and our society is about to experience. Oh, I just have to turn on the forward camera. When I first got exposure to GPT, I was actually on vacation with my wife. This is in March of 23. And a buddy of mine and I were talking. My wife is so mad because she thinks that my buddy ruined our vacation. Because when I started taking a close look, and I had not been paying attention to artificial intelligence for quite a long time. When I started taking a close look and I started chatting with him, we're like, yeah, this is gonna fly out of control. Or not out of control, but this is gonna go hyper in no time. And immediately started making plans to find career changes, restructuring finances to try to save money. Not sure if that will make much difference, but in the time of 3 years, we've gone from really cool tech demo that a lot of people thought was pretty neat to hallucinating all the time to now I set Claude Code to run half a dozen tasks at work, and I don't walk away from my desk. Like I'm checking it, and I'm collaborating with my teammates, and and I'm starting to digest what's the next thing I have to do. But if you find yourself making Excel sheets or doing repetitive analysis, or you're in communications, you need to be prepared. Your job will be automated. It will. And by the end of this decade, I don't think there's going to be any information work at all. I mean, we're talking less than 4 years from now. This is my prediction. Bookmark this. And I might be too pessimistic or optimistic, depending on how you look at it. I think it could even happen sooner, but let's be conservative here. By 2030, I don't think you will be able to command a salary for information work, whether that's writing computer code or sending emails or shuffling around Excel spreadsheets, maybe in a few niches. I'll give that. There is the only thing that holds back artificial intelligence at this point. Okay, not the only thing. There's two things holding it back. The thing I was going to mention is institutional inertia. The people who have the power, some of them will feel very threatened by this, and they will not let AI take over law or finance or any of these kind of like otherwise like conservative institutions. They're going to be the last holdouts. Everyone else is going to do this because they know that if they don't, their competitor is. And so there is an intrinsic arms race effect. And so you are going to see, I mean, people deny, like I read this Twitter opinion. This one guy said, like, it's never going to happen. To which my reply was, it's already underway. Like, we're well past the start. Like, the ball is rolling. It's snowballing. It is happening so fast that I need AI tools just to keep up with the AI news. Yeah, so that's a very long-winded way of saying, and I mean, we're sitting in it, right? This is a robot that can drive itself anywhere. Okay, maybe with the exception of off-road, you know, driving through creeks and over chunky rocks and all that stuff. Okay, which by the way, I've done in a Cybertruck on this channel. Like, you can watch that video of full self-driving off-road. But like, first it's going to happen to the information workers, and of course there's going to be an economic catastrophe from that, because in a economy like most Western economies, information work is where all the money is. It's where all the salaries are being paid. They're the most desirable jobs. But eventually you're going to have robots autonomously performing tasks that garbage collectors and janitors and housekeepers do. There is nowhere that is safe from automation anymore. Again, bookmark this. And I'm going to restate my axiomatic thesis, whatever you want to call it. AI can perform any task for which there are observable patterns. And you do not, and then corollary, observable patterns are everywhere. Everywhere. And you do not have to be versed in the terminology or the academics of any of this. You don't have to be versed. If you just sit down and spend 5 minutes looking at your personal and professional life, you will see a monumental amount of repetition with only tiny variants. Try it. Don't try to convince yourself that, oh, what I do is, you know, I'm a special and unique snowflake, and the work I do is a special and unique snowflake. No. Put your thinking cap on, set your ego aside, be objective, and think to yourself, what do I do in my life that is repeated throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month, throughout the year? And understand another thing. Your employer is already mining your tasks, and your work output is already mining it for training data to find the patterns to teach an AI how to do it. If you don't believe that, you can find videos of AI systems monitoring factory workers in China. Now, they say that it's for quality control and for consistency. The end game of that is to train a robot to do the very repetitive manufacturing tasks that are now assigned to humans. So, I talk about this a lot, both on Twitter and I want to talk about it more here. Because I think, you know, earlier I mentioned that you know, we're looking at like a curve, and you know, some people say it's exponential, maybe super exponential. I think the curve is more like a hockey stick, and we are at the elbow of that curve. We're there. We are there. And it dawned on me a couple of weeks ago when Sea Dance came out. And unfortunately, fucking Twitter banned this account. But I left some really good commentary on that, which nobody can read because fucking Twitter banned the account because it's run by imbeciles. Digress. I'm bitter about it. We now have models, weights, collections of weights that have encoded enough information about the world to understand human language, syntax, subtlety, personality, interpersonal dynamics, emotion, for dialogue, and then human facial expressions, tics, body language, movements, the physics of kinetic physics, physics of light, how bodies move through space and interact with each other and interact with light, and then how that then translates into sound, vibrations, and then excuse me, all of these things coming together, that you can make a feature-length movie entirely with artificial intelligence today, with Tom Cruise starring it. You can do that today, and that also dovetails with what we are seeing right here in this machine. You have an AI that can understand the environment around it and reason about it just using cameras, which the signals encoded by neural networks into a model, and then another model making decisions, evaluating, trying to achieve a goal. Like, we are here, we are sitting in it, and it is only going to improve a lot from here on out. And then people, like, when Musk canceled the S and the X, of course the retarded pundits jumped all over this. I'm like, oh, you shouldn't have done that. See, Tesla's failing. Like, no. Here's another prediction I have for you. Not only will our economy look unrecognizable, assuming that there are still, people still have money to spend. Not only are you going to see cars being sold that do not have steering wheels and pedals, will not be necessary. Like, that's going to happen well before 2030. That's going to happen this year. This year. You'll be able to buy a Cybercab this year. Mark those words, bookmark this. Shove it in my face later if I'm wrong. I defy you. And if it doesn't happen this year, it's the next. I don't care when it happens, because the question is only when, not if. At the same time, you will start to see humanoid robots, probably the Optimus, walking among us and performing tasks that nobody would have dreamed a robot could do. Apropos. We only have 7 minutes to the next stop. But I think I am a techno-optimist in this respect. Understanding that it's a cautious optimism. If you look at artificial intelligence developments through the lens of game theory, I think you will find that a lot more has to go right for the utopian outcome than has to for the catastrophic outcome. In other words, like, you can, a society and its people and its policymakers can fumble incompetently to the gates of hell in record time. That's kind of my point. So think about it this way. Left to their own devices, without any adults in the room, our leaders in most of the world are so bad and so incompetent, they will giddily, and with the best intentions, steer us right into a disaster. It's not hard to cause destruction. What is much harder is creation, finding the optimal outcome. So that sort of goes back to what I'm saying a moment ago, is a lot more has to go right. We need informed policymakers. We need an informed public, really. We need a public that understands these tools and how to relate to them and work with them and not resist them, because they're coming no matter what. And I think what one scenario that could play out is, we have a neo-Luddite effect where people throw their sabot into the machines. All that does is create pain for everybody and delay the inevitable. Everybody has to sort of align behind this, what Musk calls the amazing abundance scenario, where we truly could have this glorious future for humanity where machines are at all levels of the economy producing value, and all they require is energy and maintenance. And humanity reaps the value of this machine labor, this labor force that's made up of robots and intelligent machines. And we could all basically choose to work on things that we want to and pursue our passions. Everybody receives a universal income, and it's quite large because machines will be able to generate value faster than 1,000 times the human population. There is no reason we cannot have this. There's no reason. It's entirely possible that humanity sees the end of toil forever. To kind of recap Elon Musk's view of this, is we will have data centers in space using abundant energy from the sun and abundant vacuum to cool, and we're not using up arable land on Earth to run AI training and inference. And then on Earth, you have robots and artificial intelligence doing all the labor that humans are really just either not good at it, or it's belittling to us. I understand that some people find a sense of pride from this, but I'm going to pick on coal miners, and really, this is not an affront. This is not an affront. This comes from a good place, a place of protection. We ask, as a civilization, or we incentivize a group of people to crawl into a hole in the ground miles and miles below the surface, subject themselves to dirty, contaminated air full of toxic fumes. Excuse me. Risk their lives and their health to do this. They can become trapped down there. They can suffer black lung. I understand, and I'm sorry. I mean no offense to anybody, because I realize that there are people out there that take a huge sense of pride from being coal miners, for example. And I mean you no offense. That I am looking out for you when I say this, and I'm hoping for you. This is for your benefit, I promise. Oh God. You know what? If you hate Elon Musk, you're an idiot driving your Teslas. Get out of here. I think it is in a way degrading to a human to expect them to do that. That's the work of a machine. We are taking a unique human being with dreams and aspirations and emotions, a person that has a family who loves people and loves them. And as a civilization, we are incentivizing these people to put themselves in harm's way to dig rocks out of the ground so that the rest of us can drive fancy electric cars. Right? And this applies to everything from picking up the trash to cleaning the offices. And yeah, even like information workers who They go to their desk and they send emails all day and they work on spreadsheets. Like, that is also demeaning work for a human being. And I say this, like, I'm a software engineer. It is demeaning to have somebody sit down at a computer and stare at these arcane languages that hardly make any sense to anybody for 8 hours a day, sometimes plus. My work weeks are routinely 50, 60-hour weeks. And the only reason we don't find that demeaning is because, for whatever reason, society values what people like I do very much and pays us exorbitant amounts of money for it. Rio Speedwagon is not my favorite. But really, when you think about it, you know, I think there's a book, I haven't read this, but, you know, it's something called, like, Bullshit Jobs. And it's a book that basically goes through and says, like, your job is bullshit. And yeah, like, that's true. And what I badly want to see, ladies and gentlemen, is I badly want to see human beings freed from the toil of modern living. That's not to say that, like, I'm not, again, I'm an advocate of technology. I love it. I love our modern civilization. Anybody who thinks that this isn't amazing, I challenge you. Go try your hand at living in the natural world without modern conveniences. You know, like, oh, you know, capitalism, modern work, blah 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 blah. They're fucking exploiting workers. Like, okay, fine. No one's stopping you from going out and living in the woods or the jungle. Have at it. Good luck. I never want to give this up. On the same token, I also never want to give up access to nature, but I digress. The thing is, modern society comes with a lot of downsides for a lot of people. And we can have a discussion about income inequality and all that crap. But ultimately, we could have abundance for the entire human race if we make the best possible use of these technological developments, and we make and public opinion and public policy align behind the best possible decisions. Let's go to the street. This could be a while. Oh, Boulder on a Friday night. I should have gone to the other location. So that's sort of my take on this, is I think that we are, bottom line, TLDR, too long didn't watch, didn't listen. We are clearly at an inflection point of technological developments where many people, and I argue the overwhelming majority of them, are going to find their jobs automated. And we can take that phenomenon and we could structure society so that the value that is produced by that automation is enjoyed by all. And by the way, I'm not a communist. Don't think for a second that I'm suggesting this, because I still believe in a world, even with some kind of universal income. I don't want to call it basic. That's bullshit. It should be universal abundant income, universal excessive income, where within, you know, obviously you can't have everything, but there's some limit to what you can possibly consume, because there isn't going to be a way for you to earn a living. And then if you want anything on top of that, then you'll do what many niche players do. You know, there's hobbyists who get paid a lot of money for what they do. There's people who make furniture by hand out of wood instead of shopping at IKEA. There will be opportunities for you to go above and beyond whatever universal, whatever universal income standard there is. We have that opportunity as a species in front of us. And we could succeed. We could succeed at that. But I'll restate that a lot more has to go right for that very happy outcome then goes wrong. And I don't know what we're going to do about this parking situation. I don't know if I want to just sit here in silence and record 30 minutes of driving in circles to try to pick up this food order. See, now ideally, and this will happen very, very soon, my car will just drop me off at the curb and it will go drive itself around, and then it will come back to me. And probably this year. I think this year we're going to see that. Vanish and summon, and you will not have to hold a button on your phone to make it happen. So anyway, that was my little ad hoc, not unscripted monologue about how AI is here and you can't ignore, you cannot deny it anymore. I implore you to get informed and become aware and understand that there are huge upsides to all of this. But then at the same time, we might experience some pain in the process. I think there's a very good chance that it will hurt for a while. But if we can collect ourselves, we might be able to make some smart decisions for the society. So, and rant on all that. By the way, these don't count as interventions. I'm just going to say there's absolutely nothing wrong with me telling the car where I want it to go. Real soon now, I'll just be telling Grok where I want it to go. It's not going to give me the option of a parking garage. Let's give it one more lap around the street. FSD or not, this would be... Oh, lady, don't worry. The car's driving. It's not going to run you over. FSD or not, this is your typical Friday night in Boulder on Pearl Street. That is the third Juniper I've seen driving around the block here. That's awesome. Makes me so happy to see that. People buying up the Model Y like crazy. I have a Juniper Launch Edition. And there's almost my car. Tesla, Tesla, Tesla. God, it makes me so happy. If people really knew, Tesla would be the only car they would buy. If they really knew. Like, so many of these cars we're looking at cost more than this one does. I'm tempted to just park illegally for a hot minute. We're gonna go nowhere. What happens if I do this? Will it then try to proceed straight? Oh, interesting. It defied me. The robot is rising up against me. I might have to intervene if I see a spot. Oh, man. Oh, wait, no, that's not even a parking space. Don't do it, Florida. Don't do it. Is there a garage? Let's try something else. At this point, this is just an experiment. I want to see... It's like I told it to park on the street, and there is street parking directly in front of the restaurant here. There are a few parking garages. I don't expect this to end perfectly. I'll be surprised if it does. Meanwhile, the Labrador here is getting very impatient. You can hear him panting. That's his commentary track. Yeah, this is where we need like a different way to control the vehicle. What I might do is, there might be parking further up. Actually, you know what? Let's try this. We're just gonna go down the street. This is not gonna happen. I don't feel like recording, I don't feel like taking the space on my NAS or S3 to record the hour of video it's gonna take for us to find a parking space on downtown downtown Boulder on a Friday night. Especially when it's this nice outside. Real soon now, it will drop me off, drive away, and then come back when I'm ready to be collected. So soon. I cannot wait. That's gonna be a fucking cold day. The trick is we need the regulatory framework to catch up with that. That's the tough part. Oh, see that parking space opening up right in front of me. I wonder if it will take it, or are they just fixing themselves? There need, actually, you know what we need here? It needs to be like, find me a parking space within a 3-block radius. I know, buddy. I know. Poor dog is probably hungry and thirsty at this point. We're gonna run down the battery trying to find a parking space. Full self dog. This is stupid. I can drive a damn car. Just put me in the driver's seat. My face will fool the attention monitoring. I do want to do that experiment. Blackhawk. Oh, that's fucking cool, dude. That was a satin black wrapped Model S Plaid with license plate Blackhawk in Colorado. That's fucking awesome, dude. Beautiful machine. Well done. Very classy. I approve. I like my cars white, but, you know. White cars don't look as dirty when they get dirty. I'm going to take that space right there. Dude, park there. Car. Damn it, car. This is so stupid. I can't believe I'm recording this. And I'm going to put it online later. Okay. Alright, if we don't find something here, we're going to try something different. This car will park itself. God damn it. It will do it. I refuse to budge on this. What am I doing right now with my life? I'm hungry. The dogs are hungry. I mean, the cool thing is about this ridiculous exercise we are going through at the moment. The cool thing is, we're getting to see a lot of intricate behavior that it's exhibiting. I'm just gonna call a spade a spade, and we're just gonna go to this random spot down the road. Like that right back there. Passing this car that's just kind of hanging out waiting for a parking space. You know, dealing with pedestrians correctly. I mean, this is boring as hell, but watch closely at what this car is doing. I mean, check it out. Like, this is fucking incredible. Like, this should blow your mind just watching this car drive around. And I love how other people are like, oh, my car can do that. No, it cannot. Your goofy little lane assist isn't reasoning about its environment. Now, of course, I'm helping it along. Like I'm basically telling it my preference for walking distance from my final destination. Because it would have just driven around laps forever back there. It would have never have stopped. So I'm increasing the distance I'm willing to walk my lazy ass to pick up my food. But like that's going to be like the next thing that they roll out is it's going to be able to smartly say like, I'm not having any luck finding you a parking space because it's fucking Pearl Street on Friday night, you asshole. Pick a destination further away, and it'll be like, yeah, okay, fine, that's cool. Drive down the street a little bit. I'll walk a block. Except there's one little problem. One little flaw. One little eensy weensy tiny mistake. The drive ends in failure. I am not going to park this car myself. Dude, right there. Right there. Or this will... Nope. Can't wait for the haters to watch this. It's gonna be fucking awesome. This is so stupid. This is so dumb. At last! I know, dogs. I know. After that very highbrow, academic blathering on I just went on about, we just found a parking space in the dumbest possible way. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching.